I'm a divorced single dad, father of 5 kids. It can be tough raising kids today. Believe me, there are high times and low times. It comes with the territory. But in all my years of parenting, I try to give some good advice. Advice to those parents who are out there willing to listen. My name is Priceman Ray, and welcome to my show. Today we're going to be talking about Christmas. But first, I want to congratulate all the new parents out there. Boy, are you in for the time of your life. This is an exciting time and a great adventure, so cherish every moment. Now on with the show. That's right. Merry Christmas. It's going to be a great Christmas. For many people, many people are going to be disappointed, unfortunately. But that's because we're living in the COVID era right now, and it's going to be tough for a lot of families to get together like they did in past years. Now, I know this has been a trying time for parents and kids, but we are going to make it through it. But I'd like to cheer you guys up and talk about my Christmas as a child and what other people do around the world. So as a child, I remember it was one of the most happiest days of the year. It was fantastic. Always had a smile on my face and expected something. I was fortunate enough to expect something. I mean, by no means did I come from a family of wealth. We were very poor. We didn't have much money. And I do remember my mom getting a second job at night just so she could pay for a lot of the presents. My mom was a big one for all the holidays. She wanted us to know what every holiday was and what to do. If it wasn't for her, I'm probably sure we would not have celebrated all the holidays as I do now, that my kids can enjoy. But Christmas was great. And we'd always go to church Christmas Eve and sing songs, sing all the carols. And in the car, we'd come home and expect to see some presents under the tree. But of course, Santa Claus doesn't come till after midnight and after the kids are all asleep. So I do remember one of my fondest memories was when my parents took me to a tree farm where we drove up this long winding road up in the hills, or the boonies is what we'd call it. And we would pick out a tree. Now, I think we only did that once. So we chopped the tree down ourselves, or you could have somebody else do it, but I'm pretty sure we chopped it down ourselves. They give you a saw, and we picked it, brought it home, and oh my God, it was a pretty good tree. I do remember as a child, we'd always make cookies for Santa Claus. Oh my goodness. I guess Santa Claus loved chocolate chip cookies and sugar cookies. And we would sit there and make it with love. That's right, me and my sister. I have a younger sister, and we were always so excited to see who could lick the bowl with the batter afterwards. And we'd set the cookies out just for Santa Claus right when we got home. It was fantastic. But one of the great things about it too was, not to backtrack, but my mom would always take us to the store to see Santa. And we would get a picture of ourselves sitting on Santa Claus's lap. Now, I remember as a kid, I said to myself, this is definitely the real Santa Claus because he has a real beard. So they're not going to fool me this year. It was so great arguing with my sister about if this was the real Santa Claus or if Santa Claus was somewhere else. It was great. When we went to school, we'd always have Christmas parties at school, like elementary school and middle school. So you'd bring in some treats like cupcakes, cookies, some candies, and we'd all sit around at a special time in the school and we'd have our parties. It was fantastic. I mean, I'm going to tell you, I think I had a great childhood when it was all about Santa and when there was no COVID around. And I'm sure a lot of parents out there can relate to what I'm saying. My mom would always say she wanted to see the Christmas snow. That was one of her big things, to see snow on Christmas. And there were times when it did snow on Christmas Eve and other times when we woke up and we were in shock that it snowed that night. And me and my sister would run outside and try to catch all the snowflakes in our mouths. We would sit there and make snow angels in front of the lawn. We tried to build a snowman. It was fantastic. And then I remember later on in the afternoon, we would have snowball fights with the neighbors. But of course, our aim was terrible, terrible, terrible. Nobody could really aim and hit anybody, and that wasn't the object. The object was to just have some fun. Now, when it came to Christmas, I remember sitting around our record player. I mean, nowadays, I don't even know if kids know what a record player is. I mean, nowadays, don't they have music that comes out of a computer or your phone? But when I was a kid, we had a record player and a tape deck and speakers. And I remember putting on the vinyl record with my parents, and we'd sit there and listen to the Christmas music for hours while we're decorating the Christmas tree and putting all the ornaments on. And when all that was done, we'd sit back and say, wow, this was a fantastic tree. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't remember a time when we never had an awesome tree. And that's the magic of Christmas. Right after that, I'm sure a lot of people would remember all the TV shows. Oh boy, the Christmas shows that were out there. Let me see. There's The Little Drummer Boy, about a little boy who goes to baby Jesus but doesn't have a present, so he plays him a song on his drum. That was really amazing. Every time I watched that, my eyes watered up because I just found it so fascinating and amazing. Then there was Santa Claus is Coming to Town. You know, the story about how Santa Claus became to be Santa Claus, and it goes through his whole life. And a lot of these stories were all animated. Not like the animation you have now, the 3D animation, but this was the old-fashioned stop-motion animation, which, in my opinion, is still classic today. One of my most favorite ones is A Year Without a Santa Claus. Oh, that's when Santa Claus wanted to take the Christmas off because he didn't think anybody believed in him. And I guess he lost his Christmas spirit, but in the end, that's right, he got it back. And the whole world got all the presents. I'm going to tell you, Christmas for everybody, and in my home, was something fantastic, something we all loved, and we couldn't wait for. And we always wondered what Santa Claus did after Christmas. I guess he takes a year-long vacation. Now, there's a classic cartoon, a Christmas show, called the Charlie Brown Christmas. And in it, Charlie Brown, in the end, gets this tree that looks almost dead. And then all his friends decorate it up, and it looks fantastic. You know, when I said I can't ever remember a Christmas without an awesome tree? Well, that's true. I remember every Christmas we had the most beautiful tree. But it's great to go back and look at the pictures. I'm going to be honest with you. I have a picture where our Christmas tree definitely looked like the Charlie Brown Christmas tree. But the funny thing is, the magic of Christmas made it so that in my head, that tree was the best tree. And if it wasn't for the picture I saw, I wouldn't have believed it. Because in my childhood, that tree hit the ceiling. It was so big it almost came out the window. It was amazing. Christmas. That is one of the most wonderful times of the year, one of the best. And it's amazing. And I'm so glad that this tradition has gone on for years and years. And I hope my kids and your kids, if you celebrate Christmas, enjoy it in years to come. And I'm just going to say that Christmas is the most wonderful time of the year. We get to see all of our loved ones and families. We get to have dinners with them, family we haven't seen. Now, this has been a long time tradition, and it's greatly appreciated. And I often wonder how long this tradition has been around. Then I say to myself, I guess it doesn't really matter how long the tradition has been around, because it's all about love and family and celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. Christmas is the most wonderful time of the years. It's the day adults and children look forward to. I mean, it brings back childhood memories of Santa and friends. It brings memories back when you tried to look out the window and stay up at night just trying to catch a glimpse of the reindeers soaring across the sky. That's something we all miss from our childhood, but the fact is we still carry some of that childhood with us as we grow. into wisdom. I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and many more. And even though family and friends can't get together as much this year because of what's going on in the world with this COVID virus, knowing that we can still connect to family and friends brings me a little bit of Christmas cheer. I want to thank you for listening today. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you're notified when a new podcast is posted. Rate and review this podcast and share it with your family and friends. I hope that you're leaving with some great things that make you think. Remember this one last bit of advice. Tomorrow is never promised. So don't go to bed angry at your child or anyone you love. And before you go to bed tonight, hug your child and tell them, I will love you forever, Dad. See you next time here on Forever Dad.